On today's show,
this is really cool here at Silver Lake High School. Is their Silver Lake High School Athletic Hall of Fame. There's some very noteworthy names. Of course, some of you have heard of a guy named Lon Kruger.
What's happening, everybody? Glad to be back at it here for Kansas Sports Chatter, our statewide high school sports entertainment show streaming on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. It is a high school themed show, but it's hard not to talk NFL with some exciting NFL games this past weekend. And following the Chiefs and being a Chiefs fan, it's just not the same excitement when your team's not in it. You had so many years where you're just kind of spoiled, and with the Chiefs not being in it, that same excitement level, it's just not there. I'm kind of the same way for like NCAA, like March Madness. Like when my team that I'm following loses, it's like, yeah, I'll watch because it's the tournament, but the excitement, it's just not there. But I know there are a lot of Denver fans that are probably listening and watching here for the show. So hats off to Denver and the Broncos for making the AFC Championship game. But yeah, just not that same excitement level. But there is some excitement here for high school sports, and we have a good lineup for the show today. As you look at Lewis McVey, Gavin Alloway, Kelson Juno from Otis-Bison will take on the leadoff question. Andy Brown with KSHSAA Covered, one of the staff writers, will talk about one of his recent stories covering the Baldwin High School basketball team. Darvin Willard, head wrestling coach at Paola High School, will be on the show. Wade Gerstner with MSC Radio Group, calling games for Silver Lake High School, will give us a behind-the-mic look at Silver Lake High School and also his broadcast setup. Daniel Meyers, head football coach at Mulvane High School, but also in charge of leading the West squad for the Kansas Shrine Bowl. The rosters were announced earlier this month. He'll kind of dive into what he thinks of the West team and going forward. And then Stefan Spray with Kansas Wesleyan University men's basketball team, and from Barton Community College and from Great Bend High School will be our next level talents. Here is our leadoff question for today's show. It's today's leadoff question with Lewis McVey, a member of the Otis-Bison basketball team. Lewis, your question today: what's your favorite highlight of your high school career so far?
Probably has to be last year when we played Maxville, and they went on a 11-0 run, and we figured out a way to squeak it out, and we got that win. And of course, I have the luxury of the memory of the buzzer beater to win the game.
So what went wrong initially in that game? Like what was causing you guys some problems to get behind?
We had turnovers, untimely turnovers, probably the answer. They started feeling comfortable offensively. So then they started making a couple shots, and then we just kind of handed them the ball.
Anything that was said that kind of spurred that comeback, or what happened to kind of trigger that?
Coming out of the timeout with, I think it was like 3 seconds and some change, me and my former teammate Jake, we just kind of told each other that we believed in each other and we believed in our team, and it worked out.
All right, so you mentioned the buzzer beater. Take me through that play.
Well, originally I think it was drawn up primarily for Jake, and he drove right a little bit. He didn't have the space. He kicked it to me. And actually, this is funny, but this draws back to my freshman year against lacrosse in a JV game. With like 3 seconds left, we were down 6, and I didn't shoot the ball. And Mr. Little, my coach, he told me, just shoot the ball. There's not a better shot for us. So thinking about that, I did a pump fake. He jumped, and I got my shot off, and basketball was on my side in that favor, and it went in. So,
did you know right away like what move you're going to do? Like, did you know that pump fake was coming?
Yeah, he was really up in my face, and so I could kind of feel that he wanted to jump and block it. So yeah, I could tell, and yeah, I just needed the space, and it worked.
How many times have you rewatched that highlight?
Probably as many as you'd probably expect. Quite a few times, but I think for me, I have a picture of all of us in the locker room after the game, and that's just a cool memory. You can see all the smiles on all our faces. So.
That is Lewis McVey with Otis-Bison basketball. It is today's leadoff question with Gavin Alloway, a member of the Otis-Bison basketball team. Gavin, your question, what is the favorite highlight of your high school career so far?
Last night we had a game against Stafford, I would say one of our rivals, and I went 5 for 6 from the free throw line, and I thought that was really cool.
Are you typically a good free throw shooter?
I would consider myself a pretty decent free throw shooter as long as I calm down and take my time before I shoot.
So out of those 6 free throws, were any maybe more magnified than the others as far as the time of the game?
Yes, near the end of the game, we were getting fouled quite a bit because they were wanting to catch up, and I feel like those free throws were really necessary in order for us to win that game.
What's your free throw routine? Like, what makes you calm up there?
I'll dribble it. It's always 3 times, and then I'll put the ball by my side and just take a couple breaths and then shoot my shot.
Has your routine always been the same?
As far as I can remember, yes.
So for you, like, how much do you, whether it's practice or on your own, like how much do you work on free throws?
Every day at practice. We always do some drills, and then we'll shoot either anywhere from 2 to 5 free throws, and we'll have to make 2 to 5 free throws. So that really helps.
What's the most pressured free throw that you've taken so far?
I would say last night, the other team got a technical foul, and I was lucky enough to shoot the technical free throws, and I missed my first one, and the second one, there was a lot of pressure on me because we really needed that.
Is it weird standing, like, obviously it happens a lot, but is it weird standing up there by yourself? Like, would you rather just have everyone else on the sides?
Yes, it was very weird. It's something that I'm not used to, and it made me feel really uncomfortable, but I knew in my head that I had it, so it gave me the confidence to put the second one in.
Toward the end of the game, when you know they are going to foul, like how difficult is it just to make sure you do get open and you just get yourself in a position to get fouled?
Actually, before they started pressing us at the end, and it put a lot of pressure on us as a team, and as a ball handler, it's very stressful because you don't want to turn the ball over, especially in that close of a game. I think we were up by maybe 4 or 5 points at this time, so my main focus in my head was don't turn the ball over.
That is Gavin Alloway, member of the Otis-Bison basketball team. It's our leadoff question with Kelson Juno, member of the Otis-Bison basketball team. The question today, Kelson, what is your favorite highlight of your career so far?
I would say freshman year versus St. John. We were down by 3 and needed 3, and there's about 6 seconds left. And a play that we've practiced, like inbound play, we've ran quite often. Lewis was inbounding the ball for me, and he told me, I knew the play, so I went and did the play and got the 3, and I knew he was going to pass it to me, and he trusted me, and I was able to knock down the shot and make it to go into overtime.
How open was this shot? Did you get a really good look?
I got a very good look.
So, like, how many times is that like was that one of your go-to like inbound plays?
When we needed a 3, yes.
Nice. So have you always been a good outside shooter? No. How many threes are we taking a game or a season?
I would say I've probably shot more 3s my freshman and sophomore year than I have the last 2 years.
So you tell me coach doesn't give you the green light after hitting that big shot?
Probably not as much as some people. He probably trusted more people than me.
What was the initial reaction after hitting that big shot to send it to OT?
Everybody's jumping up and down and like just excited that we could have another chance to hopefully beating St. John in overtime.
Like, as far as inbound plays, like, how many do you guys typically have? Like, how many are kind of in your playbook?
Probably like 6.
Okay. So for you, when they called that one, like you said, you knew Lewis was going to pass you the ball. Like, what was going through your head prior to that one?
I just trusted myself making the shot, and I just had to believe in myself and attempt, I guess.
How did the overtime period go?
It did not go as our team expected. We ended up going up by 2 with about 1 minute and 10 seconds left, and then we threw it out of bounds, and they were able to get a 3 right after the turnover. And then I don't know how much time was left, but then I turned it over, and they sealed the game.
All right, well, no one's going to remember that now. They're just going to remember that big shot, okay?
Yeah.
How many times have you rewatched that play? At least the one that sent it into overtime.
Quite a few times.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is Kelson Juno, member of the Otis-Bison basketball team, with today's leadoff question. Once again, Lewis McVey, Gavin Alloway, and also Kelson Juno from Otis-Bison High School joining us for our leadoff question. Thanks to our sponsors. It is Wheatland Electric with headquarters in Scott City. They raised more than $130,000 in cash and food donations to local food pantries. Barton Community College. Start your next chapter at Barton, always enrolling at Barton Community College. Meyers Enterprises. Stand out from the noise. Grow your business. Schedule a free consultation with Meyers Enterprises. And SPX LED video walls. They build and install LED video walls for indoor environments like high school gyms. We'll take a break. When we come back, one of the staff writers for KSHSAA Covered, Andy Brown, will talk about Baldwin High School basketball. That is next. Here's a hard truth. If your business isn't using AI in its marketing, you've already fallen behind. But there's an advertising agency in Kansas that can get you back up to speed. That agency's name is Meyers Enterprises Media Research. The name sounds dry because the company's run by engineers, not salespeople. They use superior research and analytics that drive results with surgical precision. Marketing doesn't have to be a gritty battle in the trenches. Your business can win from the box. Visit their website, mediaresearch.agency, to learn more. This is Story Time with KSHSAA Covered, our opportunity to talk with one of these staff writers with the Kansas State High School Activity Association. Our guest today, Andy Brown. Andy, how's it going, man? Appreciate you coming back on the show.
Good. Thanks for having me.
Well, for you, I mean, you're looking at one of your latest stories at the time of the recording. I know you were able to cover that Baldwin High School ball game, and Cooper Carr, man, he's putting on a show, and he's been putting on a show his entire career, but it's been fun watching him, especially now in his last year.
Yeah, he started obviously since his freshman year, been an all-league, all-state player since then. So it's been, he's been one of Baldwin's go-to guys for the last several years now. And he started the year off. He missed the first couple games because he was coming off a soccer injury, and they wanted to make sure he was healthy and ready to go for the season. And he's just been a steady scorer for them. And being able to watch him put in a game winner against rival Eudora at home was a pretty amazing atmosphere and pretty awesome sight to see as well.
You talk about, Baldwin and just, the success they've had. They had translated nicely on the soccer field. And I know Leo on that program as well. And, man, it just seems like they've carried that over from the fall and into the winter season for basketball, Andy.
Yeah, those Baldwin, Cooper obviously was a big factor on that soccer team, big time scorer, just like he is on the basketball court. But then you have Leo Schoenberger, who's another big time player as well, gives him nice size on the inside, but also can shoot it. And he was a defender of the year, I believe, in 4A and in the soccer world. So he's, along with him and Ethan Smallsole, another great defender for Baldwin. They have great athletes to make big runs, and just like they did, back in the fall for soccer when they finished as a state runner-up. So they haven't lost since Cooper came back from injury. I believe it's 6 or 7 straight wins, and they're definitely one of the teams in 4A to beat. And when you have guys like Cooper Carr and Leo that can kind of go get their own basket at any time, I mean, it just kind of makes them dangerous. And it was great to see, and kind of great to talk to Cooper as well about him breaking the school's all-time scoring mark. And it was one of those things after talking with Coach, Don Blanchett, that it was only going to be a matter of time before, ever since he coached him as a freshman, that it was going to happen. All the minutes that he plays and all the big baskets he's got over the years. So I think they were all happy to see him kind of break that record and kind of even break it even more as the year goes on.
Well, you look at, you mentioned that win streak that they're on now. I mean, they lost those 2 games right to start the season with Paola and Chanute, and since then they've been on that hot streak. Like, what do they do so well? Like, what makes them stand out on the basketball court?
Oh, they're a great defensive team for one. They have they really pressure you. But but obviously, the 1-2 the punch of, Cooper and Leo, makes it tough for any team to guard. They do a lot of handoffs up at the top, and the play they ran to win the game against Eudora, I think it was meant for Cooper to hand it off to Leo to go score, but Cooper saw that he had the better option, took it to the basket, and missed it, but got his rebound and put it back for the game winner. And I think it's just obviously Cooper and Leo play big parts in what they do, but they have a lot of great other players around them, like Colton Collum, and they can all shoot from the outside. So it makes them a tough team to defend because they can attack you on and off the dribble. So
4A East, you talk about, shaping up pretty nice. I mean, we talk about Baldwin, but, you have Atchison, Rock Creek, Bishop Meyers, Fort Scott. So I feel like there's a lot of teams, especially at the top half of 4A East, that should be pretty good. Yeah,
Atchison's they're on a nice run themselves. I don't think they've lost yet. They beat a good Highland Park team. And, I think they have a game with Washington coming up that should be pretty interesting in the Meadowlark standings. And Bishop Meyers is obviously always good. I think they just lost their first game to a good St. James team. So it'll be interesting to see how the end of the season shakes out. But, it'll be a grind no matter what. I mean, that Eudora team that Baldwin played, they're very good as well. I think they're 3-5 right now, but that record is deceiving. They're a lot better than that. So, I think there's a lot of teams that can compete in that 4A East side. So it'll be interesting to see how it shapes up.
Andy, appreciate the time. We'll catch up with you next month.
You bet, man. Thanks, Cole.
That is Andy Brown, one of the staff writers for KSHSAA Covered.
Power outages don't wait for a convenient time, and neither should you. Right now is the perfect season to invest in a standby generator from Wheatland Electric Cooperative. With low monthly payments and special financing for co-op members, reliable backup power is more affordable than you think. We'll help you survey, install, and finance a Generac standby generator, all with professional installation you can trust. Protect your home, your comfort, and your peace of mind before the next storm hits. Get a free quote today and make life without power a thing of the past. Visit us online or call us to get started today.
Respecting our sports officials is an important aspect in our activities and for our communities. We need to cheer for our teams while also supporting the officials who help make the game possible to create a positive sports environment. These individuals dedicate their time and effort to ensure fair play and maintain the integrity of the game. They make tough calls in the heat of the moment, and their decisions are crucial for the safety and fairness of all players involved. When we show respect for our officials, we set a great example for athletes and fans.
Back at it on Kansas Sports Chatter as we bring in our next guest, Darvin Willard, the head coach of the wrestling program for Paola High School. Coach, appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Great opportunity here, it sounds like.
Yeah, you talk about, you hear in sports like, the grind of a season. I don't necessarily think about right after Christmas, early January as a grind, but when does that kind of settle in for wrestling?
The great ones, the best ones, it could be a grind all year depending on how you take it and approach it. We officially here at Paola like to really say it really starts, coming after this Christmas break. We had a week off for the moratorium, and now we're starting things off, and it's officially the grind's going to begin right in January. January is usually your busiest part of the year, and you go into that with that mentality, and it's going to prepare you for February.
What did you work on the most over the Christmas break?
Over the break, we kind of wanted to reset. First 3 weeks had some little bumps and bruises here and there, so we wanted to reset and have to take the week off. But our approach and our mindset coming in since we started is getting out of our comfort zone. We've been approaching that all week of getting out of our comfort zone, whether it's wrestling, on the mat, off the mat, during practice, during live, during conditioning, just getting out of that comfort zone, because there might be a point in time where you might be out of your comfort zone in February, and we want to be prepared for that.
So what steps, anything specific you do to kind of get them out of their comfort zone?
It could be a little anything. Like it happened to me on Monday. Monday morning, my truck wouldn't start. My battery was dead. So my wife took me to practice. And as I'm leaving, I see Brock Johnson, our 3-timer, and I'm like, it's a little weird asking one of your athletes and students to give you a ride home. And then also at that, hey, can you help jump my truck? It was dead this morning. And of course, knowing Brock, hands like, yeah, let's do it. So we went home, started out. So just little things like that, getting out of your comfort zone, challenge kids to do things they don't normally do. If they don't read, if they don't want to go on runs, do runs. Whether, when we're doing pride period, try to keep up with somebody who's a little bit more faster than you. Just getting out of that comfort zone. Don't just be comfortable. You got to be uncomfortable so you prepare for those things down, not just in wrestling, but in life as well.
Continuing with that grind part of things, like, do you do anything like during practices, like in January, maybe even early February, to lighten things up, or how do you kind of keep things nice and lighthearted? We
do. We always kind of do it over our Christmas break practices. We've been having lots of fun coming in this week. We've been playing dodgeball, little dunk ball. We're gonna go Friday. We're gonna go do a free throw contest with our high school basketball team, and they're a little way to kind of intermix things up and respect their sport. As I know they respect our sport. So it's one of those things that, how do you find ways to keep it relaxed, but also keep importance of the wrestling aspect in the grind of the season. So that's kind of how we're approaching it this week and having a little fun, but we're going to put a little work in there as well. So I got to ask, like, who really carries the weight for the dodgeball? Like, who's one of the top competitors in dodgeball? We got some boys that'll compete. Honestly, it was we kind of split them up. I let them split their teams up, and kind of our bigger, heavier guys are like our 175 to 285. They were the winners, like Carson Martin and Eli Younger, and I forget Caden Hendrickson. They're some of our bigger guys, and they kind of, when we had the dodgeball heads up, they beat like Brock and Bryson and Bodie Shea and Trace Metcalf. They beat their team, so it was they were kind of the winners of ball. But we did a little dunk ball. We did a little simulation different today, and Brock and those guys won. So
had a few more ups there, huh?
Yeah.
So for you, you mentioned all those names. Like, what's kind of the makeup of this year's team? Like, what were the expectations coming into the year, and how have things kind of translated now as we're getting into January?
Expectations are kind of still kind of high. Like I always tell our kids, I'll never lower my expectations. If I'm lowering them, I'm failing them. But we got a lot of returners coming back. We got Bryson Rockers coming back, a state champ. Brock Johnson, state champ. Carson Martin, third place. Bodie Shea, third place. Brody Lado was in the blood round. Sawyer Blue was a state qualifier. Lane Allen, and we got Trace Metcalf, state runner up, and we got some other guys who have not been there yet that are hopefully trying to push their way to get in there too. So, again, expectations are high. I think our kids know it. We're not letting that get to our head or what it is. They just have a goal in mind, and we're just hopefully we can achieve it. That's all we want to do is achieve that goal.
You mentioned all those state qualifiers and state champions. Like, you talk about building a culture at Paola. Do you kind of feel that, like, piece by piece, just kind of adding to the tradition?
Yeah, it has a long history between our high school program and our kids club. It's kind of a good little feeder, getting numbers up in our kids club, and then having them loving the sport still, and just dumping them right off into my lap, and just continue to carry off from where our kids club has gotten them, and that's kind of what we've done here over the last years, and we're just hoping to continue to do that things. Our kids club's got a lot of kids in it, from novice to open. I think there's like 110, 115 or something like that in there. So wow. That's a pretty good amounts of numbers for a kids club.
Going back to your practices, like, how much individual, like, one-on-one, tutoring do you have the opportunity to do during a practice like at this time of the year?
This year is kind of like, we finally got 5 coaches, which I still think we're probably short some. Most coaches have like 6 coaches at least between their girls and boys program. But with the amount of coaches we have, the individual part, like when we see things, especially during our daily drills, our technique, that's when you have that time to go. But having some more of experienced kids, and knowing how we do things and what we do, it's not like we know they're working on their technique too, but at that time, it gives us time to go help out some of these beginners, and and show them attention. So, I mean, because these new ones and these younger ones are going to kind of be the future for us at some point. So getting that, showing them that attention, and letting our more experienced people, still work and still drill and still do their thing. That kind of helps us kind of having a diverse of young and beginning. It's kind of hard, but how do you match? And you got to find that, hey, how do you keep on doing the technique with the older compared to the beginners? And you just have to find that match to make it work, because you're going to still need those beginners down the road.
Darvin Willard joining us here, the Paola High School wrestling coach. Did you always want to coach? Like, when did you get into that?
Oh man, I believe it was in high school. Like, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I had like two coaches back, at Fort Scott. Coach Campbell was my head football coach, and Coach Brown was my head wrestling coach. Coach Campbell was also my track coach, and I just kind of liked everything about how their lifestyle was. And, they had summers off to do whatever they wanted to coach in the summer. And I just loved everything that they did. And I looked up to those guys a lot, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And when I got to college, I was undecided. And I was like, I think I know I want to coach. So coaching got me into teaching, and here I am today.
Wrestling in general, like, I mean, can you describe the intensity of it? Because I think every sport kind of has like the highlights from, people outside watching it that they really, really love, whether it's the technique of wrestling or just the pure intensity. I just feel like, especially when you're watching like duels and it's just one-on-one center match. Like, I mean, I don't know, like there's nothing that beats that. Like, can you describe that intensity of just going through a typical wrestling match?
Yeah, it does. It brings a lot to it, especially if you're a new parent or somebody new to this sport. I usually tell parents at our parents meetings, like, wrestling is kind of like a drug. It's addicting. Like, once you get in there, it's like it's mano a mano. It's your daughter or your son versus the other ones, and you can't take a blame for anybody else. Like, it's just your kid, and as they go, like, we try to prepare our practices and intensifies. Like, especially we in our pride period, that's when we really try to intensify it up. So when we get to a match and do everything and it's live and you're getting intense, it feels normal. So that's how we try to approach it. And that's, I mean, again, if you're a new spectator looking to this thing, it's going to be different for you. You're going to see a different type of intensity, like you don't see in a basketball or football or anything else, or golf, because it gets really intense during the live matches, and especially duels.
You hit on that preparation. Like, how much preparation goes into a game plan for a specific match? So if you're like, hey, we know you're going to be wrestling this guy or this gal, like, how much can you actually game plan, whether that's watching film or anything like that?
You can game plan a little bit, with so much social media and videos and matches out there that people are recording and going live with. You can kind of game plan, but I mean, we always tell our guys, we do what works, right? We can make adjustments on the fly, but you got to continue to do what you do. And that's what we kind of approach to our kids, is do what works. Don't try to do anything that you're not going to do. That's, could cost you a match or cost you a bad position. Because in the sport of wrestling, one mistake and you could be the best in the world, and one mistake could cost you everything. So that's kind of how we approach our things here. And yeah.
All right, last question. We're going to put you on the spot. Now,
Okay.
toughest weight division that you feel like in the state of Kansas right now, whether it's girls or boys, are there any weight classes that are really exciting that people need to be watching?
Oh, man. I don't really look at a whole lot of stuff. People tell me a lot of things. I'm trying not to look at all that stuff because, some people let like certain weight classes stuff get in your head. I know where my guys are at, and I know how they're going to prepare. I don't know. We were at the Stampede and a couple other weight classes, and I mean a bunch of weight classes have some really tough guys in it. But it's 4A girls and boys. I mean, it could be any of them. I don't know, like, honestly, until I see everybody. Like, again, I said, I'm trying to stay out of rankings and try not to get into that, and just focus on that. So I don't know, maybe somebody can answer that for me. I just know where my guys are going to go at, and that's where we're going to go compete at, and hope for the best.
All right, we'll wait till the end of the season to figure all that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Coach. Hey, I appreciate the time. Best of luck the rest of the season.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
That is Darvin Willard, the head coach of the wrestling team for Paola High School, and we'll have more of the show right after this. SPX Specialized Video Wall Solutions. Your gym needs SPX. Welcome back on to Kansas Sports Chatter. It's time for our behind the mic look, an opportunity to jump on with some of the broadcasters from around the state, a lot of good media personalities, and to get a good look of not only their broadcast setup, but just kind of a sneak peek of their gym or their facility of where they get to broadcast games. And joining us here on the show today is going to be Wade Gerstner. He is with MSC Radio Group and calling games for Silver Lake High School, getting ready for a ball game at the time of this recording. Hey, Wade, appreciate you coming on the show.
You bet. I'm glad to be on with you.
So for you and being over now in that eastern part of the state, still relatively new for you in your career, how has it been out east?
It's different, no doubt. You know, you're closer to some of the bigger cities out east here, and as the Big East League that Silver Lake's a part of, the league's really, really good with the merger of the Big Seven and the Mid East League. It's the second season of the Big East League, and there's a lot of power in the league, whether it be football or volleyball, as we saw with Silver Lake winning a state title. And in basketball, you got, multiple teams that are ranked in the state, including Silver Lake girls #1 in 3A and Silver Lake boys #6 in 3A. So I've been kind of spoiled here right off the bat doing stuff with the Silver Lake channel in its first year, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, talk about that channel a little bit. So you cover, how many games are you covering throughout the year?
We did all the football games, and we plan on doing all the basketball games. We had the Rock Creek tournament where the boys lost their first round game against the #1 team in state, Heston. The girls won, so we couldn't be covering both teams at the same time in opposite gyms. So we just went with the winners bracket there. So we missed a couple of boys games at that tournament, but otherwise, unless they're playing at the exact same time, we'll carry all the girls and boys basketball games and a few select wrestling matches. And then also we'll be doing some baseball and softball.
Nice. All right. Well, let's go ahead and go into our tour here. I'll let you flip the camera and we'll get started. So where are we starting right now? Like, where are you at? Let's see here. We lost your camera. 1 second. We'll flip this over. I think if you hit that camera button again. There we go. Okay. There you go.
Yeah. So I'll just back up here real quick. So this is the entrance coming into Silver Lake in the hallway. And then over to the right is the kind of the commons area you see here. And the concession stand is to our left, which I will show you right there. And then there
at the concessions.
Yeah, well, that's where all radio guys hang out, right? Unless there's a hospitality room. What's
the best food that Silver Lake makes?
Oh man, come on! Don't put the pressure on me to have to pick something. I'm not too picky, so everything's good.
Okay, good answer. Good answer.
Yeah, and then here is the second gym here at the high school. So this is the old gym, as they call it, right there, and that's where they play some JV and freshman games. And now we will walk over to the main gym. This is really cool. Here at Silver Lake High School is their Silver Lake High School Athletic Hall of Fame. There's some very noteworthy names. Of course, some of you have heard of a guy named Lon Kruger.
Right.
Let's see, there's some other names up there. Mark Elliott. Shannon Kruger, who's actually the head coach of the boys basketball team, was a great player at Washburn as well as Silver Lake. Wendy Horrock was a great softball player at Pittsburgh State. So it kind of gives you an idea of all the awards. Silver Lake has a ton of trophies and state championships. It's pretty amazing. Here's Silver Lake Wrestling. And then I'll come through here the best I can because I want to show you the banners.
Yeah.
This is what jumped out at me the first time I was here. Was a lot of schools have banners for, third place, fourth place, state participant, or maybe a banner for, winning a state title a particular year. Here at Silver Lake, you can maybe see that. You've got baseball, 4, 8, 12, 15 state championships in baseball. So they just have the years on a banner instead of 15 separate banners. Girls basketball, they've got multiple championships there. They've actually got 7 state titles in girls basketball. Of course, football, C.J. Hamilton, 8 state championships. Volleyball team won their 10th state title back in the fall with the best record they ever had at 46-1. But oddly enough, volleyball for Silver Lake, it has the 3rd most championships. Isn't that wild? Because baseball got 15 and softball has 13. So football, a lot of people know about Silver Lake football. It's actually fourth on the list in regards to the sport that has the most championships at Silver Lake. So I thought that's pretty amazing.
That is crazy. All right, where's your setup at?
So here's the gym. We're trying to get run over.
Right.
As we'll come in here. But this is the Silver Lake Gymnasium. They call it the Nest. See the scoreboard over there. It says, welcome to the Nest. And then here's where we're going to see where our setup is. So here's the scores table in front of us. And then our setup is right up here.
Okay. You got a bird's eye view?
So we have students that participate on the Silver Lake channel. So we have students running camera. We have students that run our graphics and our scoreboard for the channel. So I've just got a regular little JK mixer that I also be connected phone line. We're connected on a Wi-Fi network here at Silver Lake. Sometimes they have hardline setups. Here's, the cheat sheets, the boards. And then here's our Mac that we have with, we use Blue Frame through Huddle. And my son is one of the students. He does a lot of graphic work, so pretty cool stuff that he can put together. What you see in the lower right hand is what is in preview, and what you see upper right is the actual live streaming. Nice. We can play video ads. We can play ads with audio behind them with a logo. We can replay highlights. We can capture replays. We can replay a replay, I guess. That's redundant.
Yeah.
We have a one-camera setup. If we had, more students available, you can do more than just one camera setup, but we typically go with one. That's the easiest to do. So yeah, that's kind of there's a view of the court from where we sit.
Well, I mean, this is going to be hard to gauge, but I mean, I love these gyms. Like, how loud does Silver Lake get? That place is rocking.
It gets pretty loud. I think I'm going to find out a little bit more when we get to the end of the basketball season, because Silver Lake very well could be hosting Sub-State, the first and the second round, the semifinals. I will tell you that the Silver Lake volleyball team, they hosted regionals and Sub-State in volleyball and the Sub-State final against Riley County. I was actually, you look right here on the other side to the left behind the cheerleaders up there. That's where I was set up for volleyball, right behind the student section. So I had to stand the whole time because the students were standing, which was awesome. And it got pretty loud in here, as you can imagine, trying to make it to state. And that match actually went 3 sets. Riley County really pushed Silver Lake that day.
All right, so I'm looking around. I'm seeing a lot of blue around you. So you're in enemy territory?
No, we're here at Silver Lake, and I'm sitting on the Holton side, though. So Silver Lake is on the opposite side. We're actually on the visitor side, yeah. So Holton is in town tonight.
Okay, very good. All right, so I see your stat sheets. Like, how much time goes into those stat sheets, and kind of like you said, your cheat sheets? Like, how much stuff do you want on that sheet?
I like to put as much as I possibly can on my sheets in front of me, so I don't have to scroll through a whole bunch of different sheets. I have my sponsor reads here to my left, and then I've got the rankings, girls and boys rankings. I always like to have terminology, vocabulary. I don't want to get stuck on the same vocab words all the time. So like sometimes I'll highlight a few different words that I want to, or slogans or transitions that I want to work into the broadcast instead of being stuck on certain ones. So tonight you can see a few that I've highlighted instead of always saying, hey, the shot's good or it's no good. You want to mix it up vocab wise. And then I would probably say, with Silver Lake, it doesn't take as much time to prepare because you cover them week in and week out. So you just have to update stats and update some notes. With the opposing team like Bolton, I haven't done them last year or this year, so that took a little bit more time. I would say on average, probably takes me I would say I spend about an hour on each opposing team, girls for about an hour and boys for about an hour. I'm kind of a research nut, as you probably know. Right. So I like to go back and find out how many state tournament appearances, how many state championships, how many, what was their state tournament record? What has their record been the last 5 or 6 years? See where the teams are trending. Who's been all league players in the past. With Silver Lake, we keep track of a couple players that are moving up the all-time scoring chart for the girls and the boys. So there's a lot of information I try to squeeze onto my sheets. And luckily, I still have good enough eyesight to where I can read all of it, even if it's in small fonts.
All right, so how small a font you going? Like 6-point, 7-point font?
I think 7's the lowest I went. I get 6, it gets pretty hard to read.
Yeah, I hear you. I saw Rebecca Lassie there for Holton. She was on the show back in before the Christmas break. If you need any filler tonight, her favorite Halloween candy is Reese's.
Oh, that's a good choice. That's a very good choice. Yes, absolutely.
Information you didn't think you needed to know. Hey, Wade, appreciate it, and have a good call tonight. Yeah,
thanks for having me. I hope you're able to see enough as I bounce around with my phone camera.
I love it. Love the inside look here. That's Wade Gerstner with the MSC Radio Group and calling games for Silver Lake High School. Are you looking for a new way to promote your business or organization? Do you want to get your message out to a statewide audience that loves high school sports in both urban and rural areas? Kansas Sports Chatter has advertising opportunities from commercials, sponsoring specific guests, product placements, and even a premier sponsorship. Let Kansas Sports Chatter promote your brand. Contact ksportschatter@gmail.com for more advertising details. That's ksportschatter@gmail.com. Come join the chatter. Welcome back on Kansas Sports Chatter. It's time to talk some football with our next guest, and that is Daniel Meyers. He is the head coach of the Mulvane High School football team, but also the West coach, the head coach for the Kansas Shrine Bowl coming up this upcoming summer in Emporia. All right, for you, Coach, I know you got other priorities and things going on right now, and you got baseball season. You're part of that coaching staff, but looking ahead for the summer for that Shrine Bowl game, and you were able to go through that selection process for the rosters that were announced earlier this month. And how did that all go for you, and what was the experience like as the head coach this year?
All right. Well, first, thanks for having me on, Cole. I appreciate it. Anytime to talk football is a good day in my world. So, that whole selection process, I mentioned on the selection show, I was actually kind of nervous about going into it, just because I wanted to make sure I had the right group and the right kids, and just try to have that good balance. So I feel like now that I've gotten away from it a few days and been able to look at that roster, and I'm seeing kids that are accepting those nominations. I'm pretty excited about the opportunity. Again, just the Shrine Bowl experience as a whole, and what the Shriners organization does is just outstanding, and I'm just proud to be a part of it. And just looking forward to meeting these kids. I'm going to try to reach out to them here and there as we finish out this school year, and just kind of, talk about my excitement for the game and my expectations for them, and just some of that stuff, just to kind of get an introduction so that we can hit the ground running on, what is that, June 21st, I think is that date?
June 27th, yeah.
Yep. So, and then getting all those preparations for that game. So.
Well, I mean, you look at the roster, and this is just half of the roster. We'll show the other half here in just a little bit. This is for the West team for the Kansas Shrine Bowl. I won't ask you to, which players stand out, but, there's a lot of exciting players. You look at just half of these names here, Coach. Who are some of the guys that, you're really looking forward to maybe seeing and coaching up close and personal?
Well, I'll just speak from my spot as I'm an offensive-minded guy. I'm the offensive coordinator at Mulvane, as well as that head coach job, and so I know how important offensive line play is. So when we kind of started our process, we were like, okay, we need to find 5 offensive linemen that just can absolutely go out and do anything and everything. And another thing I learned from last year's experience when I was the coordinator for the Shrine Bowl is some of the guys that were selected were phenomenal players. They were big, strong, physical guys, but I kind of have memories of the kid from Conway Springs saying, Coach, I've never passed that a day in my life. He said, we only go forwards in Conway. And I was like, okay, so we got a little bit of work cut out for us. And after that comment, a couple other kids were like, yeah, we just down block. Yeah, I don't know how to pass that. So, as we kind of built that offensive line roster, we kind of kept that in mind a little bit as well of, who's played in a spread system before and who has those abilities. Obviously, all of these names on here, I'm going to take a glance at a few of them, what page you're on. I know the McLeod kid from Andover Central. We sat in. I know he was an all-state kid. I sat in on that meeting, and I remember Coach Warner from Buehler was like, this guy is a 3-year starter for Andover Central. He's got to be a dang good player. So I starred him in my roster book that day, knowing that coach was right. If he can start at Andover Central, which again is a program that I have a ton of respect for, and Coach Tuttle is just a great guy and a great coach. I knew we needed to have him, and obviously the kid from Capon, Nick. I was like, that dude is just the man. So, we're hoping that he's able to play in the game, and along with all of our guys. We don't want anybody to opt out, but just that O-line look was our first take.
Well, you announced, offensive coordinator Aaron Beck for Great Bend, part of your coaching staff, and defensive coordinator Brent Holting from Pratt. So, talking to those guys, you got a pretty good feel of what kind of style you want to run on both sides.
Yeah, we do. Coach Beck is a spread guy like I am, and so that's kind of going to be his go-to. And he's obviously had a ton of success at Great Bend, and so I'm very comfortable with what his plans are, and I can't wait to kind of see how he implements it. And then, like you said, defensively, I'm giving those guys free reign. If they want to run a 4-2, great. If he wants to run a 3-4, fantastic. And Coach Holting was like, well, I've done a little bit of both. And I said, do what you're comfortable with, because ultimately, and that was the advice I was given, becoming a coordinator from Coach Pav at Mac, is he was like, do what you do, use the terms you use, because when it's game time, you don't want to be trying to remember what you called something or how did you change this. It's just your terminology. And, I shared that same advice with those guys, and just like, go do what you do and be comfortable with what you do. Obviously, as we talked about in the selection show, these guys are the best of the best, and they are smart kids. And I was amazed last year how quick, the offense got picked up, and I know we'll be in that same situation this year.
You look at these guys, and there's a lot of them that probably played on both sides of the ball. Like, how versatile do you feel like your roster is? So even if they were selected for this position, can probably get plugged in at 2 or 3 different positions.
Oh, 100%. There's some of those thoughts of guys that were when the selection show happened, said that they were going to play D-line. Well, they may be an O-lineman or vice versa. So yeah, you're exactly right. They're the versatility, because, we have a lot of, 2, 3, 4A. I mean, we even had several 1A, and we have 2 8-man players. So yeah, when at those levels, it's tougher to 2 platoon. So, they're playing both sides of the ball. Obviously, as your bigger schools, your 5 and your 6As, they typically have the ability to 2 platoon a little bit more. So those guys that, came from those classifications may be a little more specialized, but still at the same point, when push came to shove, if you needed them to step to the other side of the ball, I'm sure that they would be able to. And not just the O and D line. We even talked about that with the wide receivers and corners as well. We talked about even my kid, Manny Meyers. We took him as a quarterback, but, he may end up playing DB for us. So again, them being, again, just, super freakishly athletic is going to, be a big part. And again, that's true for the East and the West.
Talk about Manny Meyers a little bit. It was fun watching just, some of his numbers, and obviously your guys' success throughout this past fall. But what kind of player is he? What makes him tick? Man,
Manny is a super quiet kid. Like, if you walked up to him, he's going to look you in the eye and he's going to answer you. But he is just so quiet, so respectful, so humble. He's the kid that is kind of the extension of a coach on the field. I was always wanting to be in the situation where, and I told him several times, and again, I never let it happen. So I kind of feel bad, but I was like, hey, I'm going to let you call this series, because he just kind of gets it. He's very athletic minded. And not just as a football player, obviously on our basketball team, he's a big part of what they do. And on our baseball team, he's been our starting center fielder. About midway through his freshman year, he stepped in and filled that need, and just kind of, it's been tough to, take him out of that spot. And, he's just an all around gifted athlete. I think he's going to end up playing baseball at the next level. And so we're excited to, watch him continue to grow, but awfully excited to have an opportunity to coach him one more time in this game.
All right, so now that the rosters are set and we're still, plenty of months away from the actual game coming up on June 27th in Emporia, like what's next for you and your coaching staff?
Okay, so me personally, I'm still we have a list of about 10 to 12 kids that both the coaches talked about, and then I talked about with the media about like who else, could be potential, players in this game. So I'm that list of 10 to 12 kids. I'm still watching some film on them, and having 3 or 4, O or D linemen, 3 or 4 linebacker, running back type, and 3 or 4 DB type players, wide receiver type guys, in case we do have any opt outs. So again, because if we have that situation pop up, which it's not if, but when that happens,
Sure.
I want to be ready to have a quality kid to step in and fill that need and fill that role. And so that's kind of been like my priority right now. As far as the staff as a whole, we kind of, our last time that we really talked, Coach Beck sent over the offensive playbook. And so that we could kind of start looking through it a little bit. And so I think we're going to meet again at the Kansas Football Coaches Association clinic. We're going to find some time to sit down and get in somebody's room and hash out a little bit of our scheme. And we're going to have to talk about special teams a little bit as well, and who's going to kind of be the coordinator, or who's going to have what role there. So yeah, there's still some work to be done, but no need to like push the panic button or anything right now, because obviously we still have a little bit of time, and I want them to enjoy just this experience. I don't want them to feel stressed either. So,
Coach, appreciate it. Enjoy the next few months, and we'll be keeping tabs as we get closer and closer.
We will, Cole. I'm always excited to come on, and just whenever you want to have me on, I'm on. So I appreciate you having me. So
all right, we'll get you on here. That's Daniel Meyers, head coach of the Mulvane High School football team and in charge of the West team for the Kansas Shrine Bowl.
Mental health is crucial, especially during high school activities. It is a time when we're juggling a lot, school, sports, and clubs, and it can get overwhelming. Sometimes we might feel stressed or down, and that's okay. It's okay to ask for help when we need it. Taking care of our mental health is just as important as our physical health. Remember to support each other and create a positive environment in our high school community.
Welcome back on the show. It's time for our next level talent and opportunity to talk to former high school athletes from Kansas that are now competing at a college or university in the state of Kansas. Our guest today, Stefan Spray. He is a member of the Kansas Wesleyan University basketball team and at a Grape in high school. Steph, appreciate you coming on the show, man. How's your senior year going?
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me. But yeah, it's going good. We've lost a couple close games, but our team is very young. We have a lot of freshmen starting for us, and that's just some of the humps we're learning and growing by every game, and that's something we're just going to have to overcome this season. I think we're getting there. We'll definitely break that.
Grape in high school, what was your experience like just competing, not only basketball, but just sports in general at Grape in?
Great Bend's different, man. It was fun. Even though we weren't the best at football, I still had fun in football. Basketball, I had 4 great coaches that they helped me develop and get to the next level to where I could play at Barton. And baseball was just a good core group of guys that I grew up playing with since the 3rd grade. I'm still talk to head coach Randy Beck a lot, even though he's retired, but just a lot of great memories, man, that come from Great Bend.
You talk about that experience being the multi-sport athlete in high school. Now, obviously in college, focusing on basketball, but like, what's those big differences, like just far as from going from sport to sport, from fall, winter, spring? What was that experience like?
It was a lot, definitely a lot, just changing your weight, being able to adjust. I mean, you're going from football right into basketball, right into baseball. So it's definitely a hard adjustment, and that only a certain number of people can do, but it's just part of it. You just got to accept it and go do what you do.
When did you realize, because you mentioned, you're really good at baseball and you competed in football as well, but when did you realize that, you wanted to focus on basketball at the next level?
Definitely when I went into Jeremy Combs' office and he had a talk with me, and I just fell in love with Barton right off the bat. And they don't have a football team, but they have a baseball team. And I think Coach Combs definitely
played a major part in that decision and playing basketball at Barton for sure.
How would you describe those 2 years at Barton?
Barton, man, I miss it every day. I miss it every day. Just the being around the campus. I mean, it really does feel like family. That's the one thing I miss. I met a lot of amazing people there, and I wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't go to Barton. I mean, that's how special that place is to me.
Able to cap off your Barton career with that national championship, like that experience in general, but like, could you feel the pressure as you guys kept winning your sophomore season, just what you guys might be able to do?
Yeah, the pressure was definitely there, but I mean, we just had to come out and work every day and just knew that that's what we wanted to do and worked every day to do it, and we did it. And yeah, there's just a lot of pressure, but we just overcame that pressure, focused on us, and ended up getting it done. And that's something I'll never forget.
Then eventually choosing Kansas Wesleyan University to continue your basketball career. What went into your recruitment process and choosing KW?
Choosing KW, so I got recruited by basically at the time was the top 3 teams out of the KSHSAA and Oklahoma Wesleyan, Kansas Wesleyan, and Southwestern. And I just felt like the location that Kansas Wesleyan offered, the location and the community. I really like Salina. I really think it's a good town. Not too big, not too small. And it's really in the middle of everything. So my hometown is only an hour away, and it's just really good location for me.
All right, I was looking at your stats over your last 2 years at Kansas Wesleyan. You have yet to attempt a 3-point shot for the Coyotes. Now, you made 2 at Barton. So, do you have the green lights for the Coyotes?
No, I do not. I really wish I did. I really wish I did, because I know that's part of my game that I know I can do. But I just got to accept that and get into my role and do what I can to help this team win.
Well, your famous role back in Great Bend, you're on a billboard just outside of town. What is that? Did you ever think you'd be on a billboard?
No, I never did. Never did. That was really special to me, honestly. Just being that kid from Great Bend that went to Barton and won a national championship with that team, and the first ever team to win a national championship from Barton. I mean, that's just really special. I mean, I never pictured myself in that situation when I committed to Barton, but it happened, and it just means the world. And the guys I met there are extremely special.
Anything that you remember about, just playing at Great Bend, Steph, that has helped you out to have the success you're having now in college?
Just my coaches having faith in me in high school. I had to green light to do whatever I wanted, and that stuck with me, that I can still do those things, and that's what gets me through.
Hey, Steph, appreciate the time. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man.
That is Stefan Spray, a member of the Kansas Wesleyan University basketball team and out of Great Bend High School for our next level talents. Are you a person that's always on the go? You can still easily keep up with Kansas Sports Chatter with the audio podcast. Hear each episode on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make sure to follow the Kansas Sports Chatter podcast. Another episode in the books. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Be a part of the show. Go to the YouTube channel, subscribe there. Episodes coming out every Tuesday and Thursday for Kansas Sports Chatter.